And we are honored and really humbled that Jaylen Brown has chosen the Museum of Science as the place to launch his new company and his new sneaker. It's not every day you launch a new company, but that is this day. So let's celebrate this occasion. You're going to hear a lot of great things tonight. Of course, you're going to hear from Jaylen, but you're also going to hear from one of the great science communicators in the history of the world, Bill Nye, the science guy. You're going to meet Jazzy, who's Jazzy's World's TV. If you don't know her, you're going to love her after this. But you know, for me, this is actually deeply personal, because tonight, I get to throw an alley-oop to Jaylen Brown. You know, in many ways, Jaylen Brown really is like a great scientist. He sees the world differently. He sees problems and opportunities. And then he's willing actually to dive into them to solve that problem. But in the greatest way that he's like a great scientist, that he's willing to challenge the status quo. That's what's happening tonight. The willingness to challenge the status quo, which is completely consistent with what he's done in his life. Not only launching 741, but launching his foundation, the Juice Foundation, launching Boston Exchange, being the vice president of the Players Union. In so many ways, Jaylen Brown's always sort of challenging and encouraging people to not settle, to become who they were created to be. So we are once again honored to have this event here. Jaylen, we are in your cheering section. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being here tonight. Everybody, Jaylen Brown.
Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me okay? My name is Jaylen Brown. Welcome to 741. Today we're going to go on a journey about why 741, what's the state of the industry, and how we plan on making an impact in the next generation. Thank you all for being here once again. That'll be accompanied with a few announcements, some special guests, but let's have some fun today. How's that sound? So let's get started. Let's start off with why. Why 741? So the numbers 741 individually have meaning, but collectively they make one up of the 7 healing frequencies in the world. That constitutes removing negativity. That's symbolic for a reason. I'll get into that later, but for now, numbers don't lie. Secondly, my grandmother instilled education into me. Me and my younger brother, it was built into my older brother was built into our foundation, and I thought it was fitting with the brand 741 that we make sure that in the brand, the marketing, the strategies, the campaigns, that science, physics, astrology, astronomy are all embedded within the DNA. The goal is to combine science, engineering, in combination with design, fashion, fun, and learning. Lastly, my why is largely attributed to Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant. You know, his motivation, his dedication is the reason why I picked up a basketball, but before he passed, it was headlines that were saying he was starting his own brand, that his frustrations had grew with the company that he was with, and that he was leaving and he wanted to start his own goals in order to give athletes better percentages and better deals. Well, here we are today. Thank you. What an honor it would have been to have been one of those athletes. May the late, great Kobe Bryant rest in peace. Next up is what? What's the state of the industry currently right now? Right now, it's a bit of frustration that has grown within the industry between the lack of understanding the value, a lack of creativity, and also authenticity within the design process. You know, a lot of the same storylines are being recycled, and there's less connectivity to the products that we know and love. I attribute this to largely the industry being dominated by bots, you know, artificial metrics. You know, the industry has become that over the last few years. We've less invested in creativity, storytelling, and authenticity, and it seems like the industry is more invested in clickbait, headlines, fake viral moments, et cetera. This has shifted product, this has shifted the industry, and it's also shifted the design process and that connectivity that we normally would have. You know, so once again, the industry, as we speak, has less invested in athletes, talent, authentic stories, genuine engagement, and has been more invested in clickbait headlines, fake viral moments, and bots in order to meet company quotas. These artificial metrics, as of right now, is kind of, you know, what led to, you know, athletes being at why a lot of deals have been pulled off the table. You know, I think basically that the statement is that these companies believe that, you know, we no longer need your influence as much anymore. We can stand on our own 2 feet now through the technology that we control. And an example is these artificial metrics, et cetera. But here's why that thought process has a time limit, and also here's where I think they went wrong. Athletes, influencers, creators, we will always be the barometer of society of what's cool, what's creative, what's hot, what's trendy, and whatever's on the market. That will never change. And I think now, you all, everybody is starting to see through the artificial means and the artificial metrics. In 2025, things have changed. In the past, you know, athletes, creators, influencers, we might not have had the opportunities or the resources to take matters into our own hands. But in 2025, I think the game has changed a bit. You know, I think these companies, these industries, these you know, infrastructures need us now more than ever. And it's time for us to stand together. With that being said, can you join me on stage for a sec? Everybody give a round of applause for Ferg, formerly known as ASAP Ferg. Yes. There are those in the industry who still sleep on what we bring to the table as athletes, as creators, as influencers, especially when it comes to doing business. You know, right? So now it's time to show the world our true value and how we plan to, you know, quiet out the noise. Go ahead, brother. Open it up. Debuting to you now, the first unreleased colorway, the Rover White Noise. We named this colorway White Noise for a reason. For those that are still asleep, you know what? You know, it's those who still are asleep on us, what we bring to the table, let them sleep. As a matter of fact, play on White Noise. Cue the campaign. White Noise coming to you guys very soon. Okay, lastly, we had the why, we had the what, and now that leaves us with how. You know, how do we plan on making an impact for the next generation? One of my favorite quotes from Fred Hampton is, you can kill a person, but you can't kill an idea. The idea I'm speaking to right now is decentralization. It's already here, and it's already among us. You see it in media, through content, through podcasts, alternate voices. You see it through marketing. Normal traditional marketing is kind of obsolete. Now it's about streaming and content. You even see it in our currency, where the US dollar has depreciated, and now it's about crypto and Bitcoin and all these other things. Decentralization is here, but why not the shoe industry? Why not every industry? You know, I'm challenging everybody, all the creators in the room, to continue this trend, continue this journey, because it's a new world. Technology has made things a lot easier than they have been ever in the past. You know, collaborate with each other, joint ventures, we're stronger together, and I think we can make a change in this new world. You know, thank you all for coming. Let's leave an impact on the next generation. But speaking of the next generation, We have a special guest here that's here to moderate today's panel. I think who missed school today to be here. I guess I'll take the blame for that. But all the way from Brooklyn, New York, one of the highly accredited analysts and reporters in the game as a young person. And she took the time out to be here today. So I want everybody to stand on their feet and give a round of applause for Jazzy.
Wow. Well, that was definitely a warm welcome, to say the least. Thank you guys so much. And thank you for the amazing introduction, Mr. Jaylen.
No problem.
So, we're here today celebrating the launch of the new 741 sneakers and the apparel as well. And I wanted to thank you so much for inviting me here, and again, for the warm introduction.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
So can you please tell me the story behind all of those numbers and what it means to you?
I just like numbers. Numbers just stood out a little bit more. Everybody, like when they start companies, plus like trademarks, everything is like taken up these days. Every idea, if you try to think of something that's already been thought of and somebody's already bought it. So I really ain't have nothing left, you know what I mean? So
All right.
741 was it just stood out.
Well, definitely a very interesting meaning behind it, and I understand what you're saying. I feel like you said, a lot of things and a lot of ideas are already, people have already thought of it, but it's important to come up with your own creative idea, and that was a very creative one that you had.
What creative ideas do you have?
Well, my brand, that was a very creative idea. It was something that we started from the ground up.
What's your brand? The Jazzy World?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, I love it. I'm a fan, by the way.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm a fan of you too. Well, I also love how it embodies the story of intuition, boldness, creativity, and resilience as well, which is something that you love to show as well.
Absolutely. You know, it takes a bit of courage and risk to, you know, to put yourself in position to do things a little bit differently. But, you know, who wants to just be normal and be the same? Like, I think that's boring. And I think, you know, it's just in me to take that route, the route less traveled, than it is to take, like, the yellow brick road.
Yeah, and being unique and being yourself is the best thing that you could be.
Absolutely.
And you were 100% part of the creative process and the design process of your sneakers and the apparel as well. So what was the most exciting part of that process?
All of it was exciting. To be able to like pull something out of your brain, I don't know if people have felt that like enjoyment, and just to be able to see it, touch it, see other people wear it, and see all of you in the room is like the coolest shit in the world. Excuse my language.
It's okay.
but nah, yeah, you know, all of this came from a concept that obviously my team and things like that helped me bring it to life, but it all came from, you know, my brain, you know. So far I've been, you know, kind of like the CEO and like the CFO of the company. I've been making all the decisions, and it's kind of like too much. So going forward, we look forward to bringing more people on the team, but, you know, I've been, you know, super focused on this. I put a lot of my time and effort and energy into this. Like, you know, I put everything, you know, every decision had to get approved by me. I know my team hears that, and that makes them like probably angry because they've had to wait on my approval for a lot. But you know, I wanted you all to feel me or where I was kind of go with this thing. And the reason why it's futurism, and I want everybody to kind of see that, is because I want people to think about the future more instead of dwelling in the past as much. Now, the past is important. I'm not trying to dismiss the past, but I want people to think about what's to come and what's next, especially when it comes to culture and it comes to like working together. So if I gotta dress like a freaking astronaut or to get people to start thinking about the future, so be it.
Right, being fully hands-on with the creative process and with your brand in general must have been like extremely fun for you. Because I know if I was in your position, I would have so much fun with the brand.
Yeah, nah, it is fun. It's just it's a hobby, it's a pastime. Do you have any hobbies?
I have a lot of hobbies. Yeah, I like to do sports. I like to skateboard in my free time. It's a lot of things I like to do.
Yeah, hobbies are good. They're just outlets to be able to express yourself in different ways. I think that's healthy.
Right, and it's a form of relaxation too.
Yeah.
Any kind of hobby, it can be a form of relaxation for you.
Absolutely. I love music, and music is like almost like a form of meditation for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case with a lot of people. especially for me. I love music.
Yeah, a lot of my teammates have hobbies that are probably not good, but we won't talk about it.
All right. Well, what was the hardest part of being part of that creative process for you that you experienced?
The hardest part, it was everything I knew going in that it would be hard. So maybe the hardest part is, what would be the hardest part? The amount of time that you have to put in. Like, I have a day job, I play basketball.
Yeah.
For the Celtics and whatnot, So sometimes my focus has been more here, but as I, go forward, we're trying to win a championship. So right now is the shift point for me. I'm glad we got to this point. So now that, I have other people that can be able to handle it while I lock in and get ready for war.
Right, and I'm sure it's very incredible to see your vision coming to life. And like you said, you had that chance, you had a chance to see people wearing your clothes and your sneakers too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty awesome. I know, it's because it is, different. A lot of people will see it and be like, it's a lot stands out. You got this little light source and things like that. And some people, I love space exploration. I love science. I love astrology, astronomy. I love physics. I love these things. So I wanted my brand to kind of represent that as well. So I know other people share these same loves. So I think those people, this brand is not for everybody, but the people who do share those same things, I think they'll have fun with what's coming next with this brand.
And your brand definitely stands out. And it's not too shabby for your first release either.
Yeah, appreciate it. Not too shabby, I'll take it.
And like you said, you're inspired by science and technology in everyday life. So how did those ideas influence your designs for your clothing and your sneakers?
Even being here today, instead of doing it at a normal sneaker launch event like most people do, I wanted people to think science. I want people to think technology. I wanted people to look up and see, what goes into this. If you haven't checked out the planetarium next door, right here, make sure you do before you leave. I just wanted to show people that you can combine the concept of design with technology, with science, with physics, and et cetera. So I plan on showing that more in the future.
Well, it's so interesting to me how science and technology both played a major role in that design. And just in general, when it came to the brand too. And I love science at school. I find it very interesting. So.
What's your favorite science-related subject?
My favorite science-related subject right now, I'm in AP. What's it called?
Okay,
AP. Planet and space science.
Oh.
And I love learning about planets and space. I think it's very interesting.
Well, I'm glad we have Bill Nye, the science guy here.
Yeah.
Who is an expert in this area.
Me too. I'm very excited for him to come.
Absolutely.
And I love how you had a chance to merge science with basketball as well, and with fashion too, to say the least.
Yeah, it's all correlated. We don't always see it because we dichotomize things, but physics and science make up the game of basketball. Without it, it wouldn't be a game. So it's all correlated. Just sometimes it's harder to see it.
Yeah, and the story behind it's very innovative and it's very creative.
Absolutely.
And performance is such a big deal in sports. So why do you feel the 741 sneakers will bring a new wave of performance when it comes to basketball and just sports in general?
Well, one reason I feel like in my shoe, most athletes who have signature shoes, they have special shoes that they have that's different from the shoes that everybody else gets. Does that make sense? Because they have their own personal needs or to make sure. But most brands, they want to decrease the margins so they can make more money. So the shoes for the public are one way, and the shoes for you and the shoes for the athlete are different. Y'all got the same shoes I got. Every shoe that is put now is the same shoe that I'm wearing. And that's why it's $200.
True, very true. Well, I think we're all excited to see how the 741 sneakers are going to push the boundaries and, well, help the future of athletes.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was some great questions.
No problem. And it's clear that they're built for the future of the game, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to do the honors?
Yes, I would love to. Everyone, please put your hands together for our very special guest, the one, the only, Mr. Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
So Jazzy, that's what you're gonna wear?
I mean, you didn't get me a lab coat, so I was kind of expecting us
Anyway,
to wear lab
good to
coats
see
together.
you guys.
Show him this lab coat, this special
Oh,
edition.
this? I throw it on when. No, you guys set me up backstage. What do you think?
It looks good. It fits
It's
you well.
got the orb, right?
On the
I
back.
got the orb.
Yeah.
Oh, looks nice on you.
Thank you. You look pretty. I like your shoes.
Thank you so much.
The orb is an ellipse.
Yes.
Kepler's laws. Anyone? Okay. The schools. All planets go around each other or around objects in ellipses. Anyway, neither here nor there. It's good to see you guys.
It's
You
great
too.
to see you as well.
So this is Pat. I did not check that out in the dark. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
What is that for?
Just in case when we're on a different planet, we run into some like extraterrestrial beings.
Oh
We
yeah,
gotta-
they'll bump into you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
we've all been there. Yeah. And under the basket, there's a lot of contact. Right
There
yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
a very physical game. Very
Yeah,
physical.
it is.
Did you play?
I mean, no. But I grew up in Washington D.C. There
You're a
was a
Wizards
lot-
fan.
Huh?
Wizards fan.
Well, now, but you guys, there was no basketball team. No, the whole thing was to go to Baltimore and watch. The team was called the Bullets. You have mixed feelings about that, but the whole idea was to go and see the 76ers because Wilt Chamberlain was playing. So do you know who this guy was, Jazzy?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the first 7-foot tall guy. Now all of you, like you're the short guy. What do you like?
I think league average is like 6'6". I'm 6'6" on the dot. So
Yeah,
Wow.
it's amazing. Anyway, it was this thing to see this guy, and so, but everybody played basketball a little bit, but not very well. You know. And my
Absolutely.
niece is quite tall, and she had an athletic scholarship as a center,
Wow.
and she's teaching school now.
you said something in the back where I was watching you guys interview. It was about the JOD, journey of discovery.
The joy of discovery.
Joy of discovery.
Well, Journey is good. Yeah, Journey was in that same thing. So, you guys, earlier, Jazzy gave me a small sundial, and it's in the pocket of my winter coat, which maybe it got sold. Maybe it's not here anymore. But anyway, I just was telling her that on Mars, on the planet Mars, with our tax dollars, there are 4 sundials. They were, whoa, here we go, as if by magic. And the sundials are used to get the colors right on the pictures, because they noticed that if you look at the shadow, like these clothes would be really good. If you look at the shadow on something really white, you can see here, you'd see it's gray, but you'd also see in these lights, I think you'd see it's a little bit blue, just ever so. And on Mars, it's quite orange, the shadow. I mean, it's gray, but there's a tinge of orange, some orange-descence. So I was in a meeting, and I said, we got to make that into a sundial. And so, that's great. So around the edge of these sundials that one of you is going to go to Mars and see, it says, to those who visit here, we wish a safe journey and the joy of discovery. Whoa. Whoa.
Clap it up
It's
for that.
optimistic.
Very optimistic.
Somebody's going to go to Mars, they're going to have a safe journey, and they're going to discover something. That's just wonderful. That's cool. Yes, back to you. Yes, yes.
So, Mr. Bill Nye, you've been inspiring people, kids and adults alike, to love science for generations. So, what first made you fall in love with science as a kid?
She just called you old, by the way.
No. Let's not take that the wrong way,
Well,
guys.
also you'll notice that she's being respectful.
Yes.
She calls me Mr., but still, it's one word, Bill Nye. Mr. Bill Nye. It's not even hyphenated anymore. It used to be, So, anyway, Jazzy, it's a great question. So, my claim is we were playing cards on the front porch, Washington, D.C. It's in Fahrenheit, 95 degrees, 99% humidity, sitting outside on the porch. And I got stung by a bee. We're sitting cross-legged. I got stung right there. And it was my first bee sting, and it was traumatic, man. I was crying. I was stung by a bee. And my mother put ammonia on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The smell in Windex, the active ingredient in Windex. And it felt better. I mean, not instantly, but it felt better. There's something in the ammonia that denatures the venom, like makes it not hurt as much.
Yeah.
And then on the bottle of ammonia, this was in the old days when you would mix it yourself. Now you buy Windex that has ammonia in it, but there's a skull and crossbones. It's poison. My mother's trying to kill me, and I was an obnoxious little kid. I can understand her point of view. Finally, I can kill him. But I just thought that was amazing. And then my older brother had a chemistry set back when they were dangerous and cool. And he could make a compound in your hand that smelled like ammonia. And I remember thinking, whoa. Magician says it's all done with magic. You know what we say in science? It's all done with molecules. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Magician says all done with mirrors. I messed it up a little bit. Anyway, I have a question for you, Jaylen.
Yes.
So those are white noise.
White noise.
What is this one?
Black moon.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, all right. They're fabulous, you guys. I recommend them. So I have these now. Could I play pro ball? Am I ready to go?
I'm going to be honest with you. No.
No.
Oh, wow. Wait, what makes you say that?
Just, the generation. You know what's great about this?
Are we changing subjects?
Yes.
All right.
What's great about this is we get the chance to build intergenerationally. And I thought about that when I saw all of us together. I wasn't thinking about that before we kind of, put
It's
this
3
thing-
generations right here.
Yeah.
Yes. We
It's
got,
amazing.
we got
It really
14,
is
28, and
I don't know if you want to point out
So
the
you
age.
guys, I think about this all the time.
7, 8.
You
10.
like numbers, right?
I do.
All right, if you live to be 82 in 7 weeks, okay, 82 years old, a month and 3 quarters, you get 30,000 days. 30,000 days. And when you're, Jazzy, you're something like 14, one of these numbers?
Yeah, I'm 14.
30,000 sounds like a lot.
It-
You're barely into a couple thousand, right? But if we were to go to Patriot Stadium, what's Patriot Stadium?
Gillette.
Gillette. Actually, I don't get an endorsement, but I recommend Gillette razors. The place seats was 75,000 people or something. So imagine this: your life is going to go on the field. You're watching your life. This is a thought experiment, okay? And every day you sit in a different seat, and you're watching your life. You get closer, you get farther away. You're watching your life. 30,000 days. You don't get halfway around. It's awful. So I try to cherish every day.
Yes.
There's going to be some days.
I
Some
love that.
days are not
Yeah.
as good as others. But I try to cherish every day, and being here with you tonight is wonderful. It's magical.
Yes, you're
Good to see
absolutely
you.
right.
So
And-
lead on.
Yes, and when people think of science, they mostly think of you. And
Wow,
Very true.
it is
it's
very
amazing.
true. And I love how you're able to connect science to everyday life.
Yes.
And that's something I like to point out, when it comes to anything that has to do with science. Because science is portrayed in everything.
Yes.
So, how do you see science showing up in sports, fashion, or even culture?
I saw. By the way, I seen you were on Tom Brown Fashion Week.
Yeah.
And you were walking,
Yeah, that's
doing your
me.
thing. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that, right?
I'm fashion model.
You
Come
look-
on, man.
He's a famous fashion model, guys.
So
You
these
look good.
shoes are great, but the shoes that night they hurt. But that aside, the fashion model thing, you got to have the neutral expression because it's supposed to be about the clothes.
Yeah, but can you
Have
show
you
us?
ever had a neutral expression in your life? No, I don't
Me?
think so. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Neutral expression?
Just like,
I feel like if that word, my face would be right next to it in the dictionary.
it would not be there. It wouldn't be there.
It wouldn't be?
Your face
My face would be there.
would be next to neutral.
Neutral expression?
Okay.
Or maybe stoicism, because
Oh, stoicism, that's not, that's, tough's not neutral. We can take a meeting about this. Anyway, then after I got to the end, one end, I turned around and then I started messing around. All right, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I saw your dance moves.
Got to dance. That's another, growing up in Washington, that was another thing that you sort of sensed was something worth doing. So I do love dancing. My parents were very good dancers. My mother was a ballroom sort of minor champion for a while. So I do like that.
I have a question.
And that's all physics. Yes, back to you.
You guys were talking about, when you guys did an interview, 2 things that we're going to be alive, that are going to be life-changing for all humanity?
Yeah, that would be the 2. You want to hear about those 2 things?
Yes.
I love you, man. So the first one is
Love you
when
too,
I thank you. When I was in school, when I took physics, the study of motion and energy, nuclear fusion. This is where you smash 2 protons together and they stay stuck together and overcome the strong atomic force and release all this heat and light. That was always, that idea was always 40 years away. And we're here. Have you heard of Massachusetts Institute of Technology? It's down the street. Have you heard about it?
Yes.
Anyway, these guys and gals are working on this thing, and they think it's not 40 years away, it's more like 4 years away. And if that thing works, it will change the world. And so the idea is, the problem is, normally when you do fusion, you're a star, and you have like the sun, and you have a huge amount of gravity, and you crush these particles together. Well, the way everybody thinks that would do it on Earth is with a magnetic field, super strong magnetic field. Well, people have been trying to build magnetic field strong enough for better part of a century and not being able to do it. But the claim is they have what are called high temperature superconductors. Have you heard this word? And when they're talking high temperature, they're talking about liquid nitrogen, which is almost minus 200 Celsius, minus 320 Fahrenheit, something like that. And that's considered high temperature. The thing is, liquid nitrogen is very cheap. It's cheaper than gasoline. Most of what's between you and me is nitrogen right now. So if that works, we'll have unlimited electricity. We'd have unlimited electricity. Desalinate seawater, distill water, leave the lights on all night, go crazy. If that thing works. And so that MIT guys and gals are doing it, and then there's a company that I'm very interested in California that has this other scheme that also involves a magnetic field that may work.
We have some representatives in here from MIT. Can you guys stand up for a second if you're in here? Dava and your team?
Are there, Dava
We can't
is
see.
here, yeah.
There they are.
Where are you guys at?
Is here.
I think over here to the right.
Doctor?
Oh!
Anyway, then the other thing that would change the world. So we send spacecraft to destinations in the solar system. Mars, and now there's a spacecraft on the way to Europa, the moon of Jupiter, that has twice as much ocean water as Earth. And if you have ocean water for 4.5 billion years, is there something alive there? Are there Europanians swimming around?
This is a moon of Jupiter.
Yeah, moon of Jupiter.
How many moons does Jupiter have?
How many moons of Jupiter? 62 or something? But there are 4 big ones. How many, David? Dava? 100 and some? Yeah. So anyway, there's 4 big ones, and they're called the Galilean moons because they were named after Steve Martin. No, they were named after Galileo. And because he's observed them, he had sort of a military instrument, a telescope in the early days, and you can go out and observe them. and they go around so fast. How fast do they go around? You can see them change over the course of a few hours. In one evening, you can see them move from here to there, there to here. And so there are 4 big ones, and Europa has this icy shell and salt water underneath it. And by the way, that ocean was discovered by a woman, Margie Kibbelson, who's quite a character, yeah. And then Io has all these volcanoes, and Callista, Callista, how marvelous. And then Juno. And so go have a look through a telescope, you guys. You'll see the Galilean moons. And so, that was not that long ago. It was the 1670s. And he said, look, I can see the moons move. They're going, no, you can't. No, really? No, or you can't leave your house. We're going to imprison you for the rest of your life.
Oh my God.
And he goes, dude, no, sorry, you were going to imprison. It's just that closed-mindedness is not science.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And, I am super interested in science, and I really wish I had like a book or something so I could take notes, but later on I'll make sure to do that.
Well, you don't need to take notes. We're having a good time here.
Yeah.
What I say all the time, you may not remember what anybody said, but try to remember how you feel. Whoa.
Galilean moons.
Galilean moons. You know what? I'll remember that.
Well, it's something to think about. But
Yeah.
then everybody takes out his phone or her phone and starts, be in the moment, you guys,
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And now we are going to transition into our Q&A portion
Q&A portion
of the
of
questions
tonight's
from
program.
the audience. Thank
Wait,
you.
here comes the iPad.
Yep.
do it.
All right. So someone said, Jaylen, do you think at heart you are more athlete or scientist?
At heart that's a tough question because it's completely biased to what I think. But in reality, I'm probably more athlete, but at heart, I think scientist for sure.
Right on. And by the way, basketball is all physics, right?
All
yeah.
physics.
I watched you play, Joe, and I mean, your court awareness, where you get to receive the ball and pass the ball it's fantastic. And, balls bounce, the angle of incidence, angle of reflection, it's just, And you guys, so when you pick the ball up, you get your fingers across the seam, right, if you can.
Yep.
Have you seen these guys do that? It's like instant, and their fingers are across the seam of the ball.
That's something I worked on this summer too. I got that from Steph. His just ability to find the seams every time. It's like the ball is like magnetic in his hand. It just flips right into the seam. No matter how many moves he just did,
I know, yeah.
It lands right into the seam every time he shoots it. And I think that increases how well you can shoot the ball if you shoot it from the seam the exact
Yeah,
same way
because
every
you
time.
put a little backspin on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just helps it get in there, which is important. And it's all, the human movement and everything, what do you guys call kinesiology?
Yeah.
Is all physics. It's just elegant. Yes, back to you, Jazzy.
Thank you. And you talk about frequency and mindset. Do you have a meditation practice?
I do. And sometimes I don't want to go into detail about my meditation practice, but sometimes people make meditation seem a lot harder than what it actually is. I think it's actually just taking 5 minutes for you. Like just taking 5 minutes before you get your day started, closing your eyes and just kind of manifesting, seeing how the day is going to go. Just imagining things going smoothly, imagining things like working, and that's it, and then you can build on that. I think we sometimes make things a little bit more complicated than they actually are. So some people have a fear of actually doing it, or what is meditation. For me, it started with that. I just took 5 minutes for myself in the middle of everything that's going on, in the middle of work, trying to provide, in the middle of trying to go to school or trying to do these things. Just take 5 minutes of your time to check in with you and just let yourself know that, give yourself affirmations, tell yourself how today is gonna go, what needs to be done. And that's how my meditation practice started. Now I've advanced into a lot more things, but that's how it started for me.
It's important to take time for yourself, no matter what you do, whether it's school or if you have a job or a career or anything.
Exactly.
Being
Well, for
able.
me, it's when you got something hard, you're going to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
You just, okay. It's going to be okay. I'm going to get through this. I can do this.
Right, words of affirmation. And, you know, you have to make sure that you're there for yourself before anyone can be there for you.
Absolutely.
Whoa. No, that's pretty cool. God, you're 14?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 14.
I suck. God.
Thank you.
Impressive.
Thank you. What did you learn about the design process that challenged your initial vision? That is a really good question. Who asked that?
What did I learn? That is a lot of work that needs to be done.
Did you say design process?
Yeah.
You talking about the shoes or the clothing?
I guess the clothing
I guess
and
the
the shoes.
clothing.
Yeah. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like I said before, like my day job is very, what do you call it? It kind of dominates my time, being an athlete and being a top athlete. So, you know.
Being the best in the league, the best in the world, it does take a little focus. That's good to know.
No, absolutely.
Because you make it look pretty easy.
Well,
True.
thank you, Bill. So do you.
Yeah, well, no, I'm talking about you. So anyway, you're doing your design thing. It's just a lot. What do you guys make sketches? What do you do? Look at fabrics?
Yeah, it's all of that. You know, you take, what do you call it? You take what inspires you. You get, you know, you put that out. You maybe do a vision board. That's how it starts. Maybe you have a folder in your iPhone with all the different concepts that you like. And then maybe you work with a designer that kind of helps bring it to life, and you go back and forth on the phone with them trying to, you know, CAD up graphically what you want. But then on top of that, now you need a developer to develop from the graphic to the actual design, because you have to engineer the design for performance. So when we design the shoes, you can design it with a graphic and a CAD, and you can have this dope concept. But how can you make this actually playable, functionable, and performative without having a developer to be like, you need this, you need that. So it's a lot of intricate processes to designing and development, but I love it. You know, I've been able to work with a lot of different things, not just sneakers and shoes, but through my foundation, aligning with MIT, being able to design curriculums, being able to, you know, create programs with NASA. So design is something that I love. It's a great hobby of mine, and you know, I look forward to doing more.
May I ask, what is the orb? Where did that come? Whose idea is the orb?
Came from.
And so what is the orbing?
What is it? Orbing?
Yeah, that's a verb I just worked on. It's got iridescence, right? I see purple, I see
Yeah.
yellow, I see all sorts of things. Why the orb?
I love light. I love astrology. So the orb for me represents like a source of light.
Okay. It's reflecting light.
Yeah, so this represents like, you know, energy that is, you know, encaptivated through design, but it kind of represents, it's kind of orbing you. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever asked me these questions, Bill. You know, getting into the science and stuff. Man, stop
You
it.
show up with an orb. You put an orb on my back, and you don't have a whole orb story? I thought there'd be like...
No, it just looked nice.
You know what?
Looks nice is pretty good. No, that's a good start. You thought it looked nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, after this, you got to create your own lore, though. Like, a whole story behind it.
Yeah, we're working on that. You know, turning it into like, you know,
Yeah.
you'll see with some of the campaigns, it'll turn into like a
So the
storyline.
sun came up, and I realized part of some blah, 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 blah. I was swimming, and the fish, blah, blah, blah,
See?
blah, 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 blah.
We're officially adding Bill Nye as a writer to the series.
So I
Please scratch the head.
I was
That's
looking
right.
through a microscope and blah, 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 etc. And so I came up with the orb.
Thank you, Bill, for joining the team. We
You know,
appreciate
I
it.
orbed it. It was all orby.
This is his verbal confirmation that he is
Yeah.
now part of Team 741. Can everybody give a round of applause for that?
Sure, yeah. No, but, you know, ellipses are of great significance. And when we're here at the Science Center, people say to me, Jazzy, so are you taking Algebra 1, Algebra 2?
I'm taking Algebra 1 right now.
Algebra 1, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm not the greatest
algebra
mathematician.
is key, all right? Do not make me come over there. So they've done these very compelling studies that algebra is not only enables you to think abstractly about numbers, it enables you to think abstractly about all sorts of things later in life. So even if you don't, for some reason, don't become an engineer, which would be weird. No, we
No
don't
pressure.
want everybody to become an engineer. The fashion problems alone with engineers would be very troubling. But be sure to learn algebra. And what I'll tell you, Jazzy, you just have to practice. There's no
Got it.
way around it. You just got to do it over and over. I'm sorry, man, but along with algebra, you will get to ellipses.
All
You
right,
will
got it.
get to ellipses,
Yeah.
and they're cool.
All
They
right.
have their own magical qualities.
Okay, although I'm not, the biggest fan of math, I really love science, and I'm in an AP science class.
I
so-
love you, man. Well, man.
Thank you so much. I love you too, Mr. Bill Nye. I love you too.
All right. So
Yeah,
algebra rules. Yes.
somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in full agreement with that, but
No,
yeah.
but everything in
I love
here
this.
owes its existence. No, but everything here is here because of our understanding of algebra. And when you make clothes, you got all different sizes.
Yeah.
You're multiplying the dimensions by something, right?
Solving for X.
And
Yeah.
to get a curve, to take fabric, which is flat or two-dimensional essentially, and then make it fit on curves is all algebra.
Wow.
Whoa.
Mind blowing. Well, everyone, thank you so much.
Oh,
for
wow, that's it? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
That's,
Oh,
that's
gosh.
it. Sorry, they told
You
me
can
that I
keep
gotta wrap
going,
it
but
up.
everybody, we all leave it.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Well-
Well, thank you very much for including me.
Yes, and
Absolutely.
everyone, thank you so much for coming out here to this event, the celebration. Come on, round of applause, Mr. Jaylen Brown right here. Amazing job.
Thank you again. This is great. This is good.
It was really nice to talk to you. It was really nice to see you.
Orb, you got the orb.
phone, let's do a selfie.
My dad's.
Let's do a selfie while we're here.
Yeah.
Can we hold on? We're gonna do a one selfie. Can we? Oh, we don't have to. Get the lights back on.
Let's do it.
Bill, you could be in the middle.
I mean, let's be in the middle.
So you gotta be on one side. Oh, no, she's got it.
Everyone pose.
Wonderful. That's great.
It's very good. Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, how are you doing?